My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Welcome back, everybody. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought that real estate investing or whatever it is that you're doing for a living is just really kind of a means to an end, and you have a much bigger purpose in mind? You've got something that really tugs on your heartstring, that strings that you really like to support through the profits of your real estate business. Well, if you do, then today's guest, zooming in from Connecticut, Mr. Jose Bernard, has done exactly that. He's combined his real estate investing business, doing flips, doing buy and hold, with his passion, which is helping out those who are less fortunate from his original home country of the Dominican Republic. So, Jose, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. All right. Hey, man. So let's start. First things first. Latin America is near and dear to my heart. I spent 10 years living in San Jose, Costa Rica, married a Latina, had Latino kids, the whole bit. So near and dear to my heart. Have not visited the Dominican, believe it or not. So that shame on me.
You gotta go.
I got to dial in my bachata, man. I tell you what. But tell us a little bit about how you got from the Dominican to the States and how you got involved in real estate in the first place.
Absolutely. So I was born there. I came here when I was 12 years old. My entire family came over. My dad was already here and he was working while we were waiting for our paperwork to clear before we came here. So actually, real estate was an afterthought. I never really thought that real estate was going to be my thing, that what I will end up doing for a living. So when I first got here, funny story, I'm the youngest out of three. So I have an older and middle brother. And I remember like yesterday, my dad used to work at a factory in New Jersey. It was a fabric factory that used to work with designers in Manhattan. And he actually took us, it was maybe like the third day that we were here after we came from DR. He took us to his job so we could see what he did for work.
Yeah.
And after my brother and I saw what he did, I remember like, yes, and mind you, I'm like the youngest brother. And I looked at my brother and I'm like, listen, there's two things that we cannot do. We cannot mess up and we cannot go ask dad and mom for money because look at the hard work that he's doing to provide it and put food on the table and provide us to be here. And ever since then, I actually started working that very first summer.
Wow.
I got here that summer. I started working in a supermarket. I started high school at that time. And I've worked my entire life since then. And I understood as I got older that building a business was a smarter way for me to create wealth and provide for my family and for those around me that I knew that were close to me that were in need. So I always had in mind that I wanted to do a business, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And when I got to college, again, I was working full time. Even in college, I was working full time and paying for college out of pocket. And this was the time where the crash happened here around 2009. I was a senior in college around that time. And it was cheaper for me.
What were you studying at the time?
I was studying business.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I went for school for business administration and management. And it was cheaper for me to actually buy a property than to continue paying out of pocket for my room and board in school. And so that's exactly what I did. Actually bought a duplex. I was only 21 years old. This was back in 2009. And I'm here, this young guy with a duplex. I had my first tenant, who was a buddy of mine, who lived in downstairs. I had a couple of buddies of mine living with me in my unit, so they were paying for the room as well.
House hacking, yeah, nice.
House hacking, right? To the max, because I had every single room filled as much as I could. And to me, still was more like a way for me to save money, to continue saving for this business idea that I knew I wanted to do, but I didn't know what it was going to be. And then it turned out after a couple of months of doing this, and I'm looking at my bank account and the money coming in for rent, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm actually not only breaking even, but making a little bit of money here. Yeah. So after I saw that, I said, oh, maybe I could try to do this again. So I got in touch with a realtor, the same realtor who helped me out with the first one. And then she actually connected me with the internet community for investors. And I went in there and I started seeing what people were doing and learning more about house hacking. I was doing it, but I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I started learning more about it. And then I made it a mission to myself. I was still working, but I said, you know what? I want to acquire one property a year from that time on, and a multifamily a year. And that's what I did. I actually house hacked my first two family properties before I started buying just as an investment property. And I did that all the way through 2016 or so.
Yeah.
At that point, I was working in sales, had a sales job. And anyone out there who has worked in sales, at this point, I was working in sales for close to 16 years. I mean, 6 years, sorry.
Mhm.
So I was getting really burned out at that point. And
What kind of sales, if you don't mind sharing?
sure. So I was working, I was as a business consultant, and I was selling payroll services and credit
Oh,
card processing services as well.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I was
that's a
getting
tough
really,
gig.
yeah, I was getting burnt out. And, 2017 and 2018 came around, and I said, you know what? It's time for me to go full time with this real estate stuff. I had already enough properties where at least I could cover my basis as far as
Nice.
my expenses.
Yeah.
And I said, let me really dive into this business and convert this and grow this to the business that I always wanted to. Now, fast forward today, now I have a partner as well in my business now, and we currently own 50 units, all here in
Nice.
Connecticut. And
What
we
what kind
currently
of what kind of properties? Small multifamily, single
small
family homes?
multifamilies. So we have quadplexes, duplexes, and triplexes.
Nice.
We have
Nice.
a couple of single families for student rentals too in there in the mix.
Well, you're still
And
renting by the room, so it's
yep,
kind
we're
of like
still
a
into the rules, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And now we also do between one and two projects that we're flipping every month.
Oh wow. Okay, so
So
pretty serious
we
flipping business.
yes,
Nice.
so
Yeah.
so we are now, that's the business that we have now, and what we're focusing in as far as the business is continue to grow both sides of it, the buy and hold, and also the rental side as well.
So for the buy and hold, do you guys, you and your partner, just self-finance everything, or do you work with
We
investors? What do you guys do for that?
so we do a combination, right? So as you know, many listeners might be new people starting out, and when I started out, I did an FHA for the house hack, and then I did conventional 20% down, 25% down. As I got more experience and more of a track record, then I started working with private capital and private partners basically in my deals. And this is
Like
just
joint venture
people,
type partners, or
not so much. So they work more as private lenders.
okay, got it.
So we raise capital through private lenders. And again, this was after doing this for many years of having that track record for people to trust you and see what you're doing on a daily basis. We now fund all of our deals through cash completely, and it's through private lenders. And we also have lines of credits available in our business that we use.
So for buying your flip properties, is that what I'm
We're buying the
understanding?
flip
Got
properties.
it.
And,
Yeah.
and for the buying holes, we buy them cash and then we refinance them out in six
So you're
months
doing a
time.
burr on the buy and
We do
holds
the burr on
typically.
the buying hole. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
And are you, so for the buy and holds, are you using investor capital to go in and buy them all cash, or are you
Yes.
guys
Mhm.
self-financing them? Okay,
Nope.
so
So
you
we're
go
doing
in
that.
all investor cash to buy these, then you fix them up, then you refinance them, and you cash your investors out with nice
Exactly.
pop of profit. All right, so they
Exactly.
don't end up with any equity in the deal. You guys own
Exactly.
them free and clear. Well, not free and
Exactly.
clear. You guys own them with the
Mhm.
underlying finance. Smart.
Exactly.
Nice, nice,
Exactly.
nice, nice. Excellent. So the next thing is, Jose, I understand that coming from the Dominican Republic, you remember back to when you were a child and how tough things were for your parents and for a lot of other kids your age in your area. When did that kind of spark you? And what? Tell me the story about how the philanthropic side of things came about for you.
Absolutely. I come from very humble beginnings, and I know the results of opportunities and doors that open up, and a lot of people are not as privileged as I have been for those doors to open. And I have made it sort of my always. This was also big for my parents. My brothers are the same way as I am. We're really big, and hey, our jobs as we get further in life is to try to bring those opportunities to those who are behind us, so we could all kind of grow at the same time. And coming from the Dominican Republic as a young kid, I didn't know then what I know now, but you know education, it's huge. And over there, you do have an educational system, but the problem is that after you do get that education, it's not the same opportunities as you would have here. And
Mhm.
also because of economics, a lot of the kids have to work at a very young age and it takes away from their education. So one of my things have always been, as I've grown in my business and I get older, how can I go back to Dominican Republic, to my country, and try to bring some of those opportunities back as I was given the same opportunities. And
Yeah.
again, this has a lot to do with my parents. And once we got here, that was still in us that, hey, we are here and we are taking advantage of this opportunity, but this opportunity is not given it to everybody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Your father was one of the fortunate few that
yeah,
made it
yeah,
over, got a job, and can bring his family over. Most people
right,
would
right.
love
And
to be able to do that. Yeah.
right. And it's one of those things that I always believed. And again, this was something from my parents that once you have an opportunity, it's up to you what you do with it. You could maximize it or you could not. And if you have people that they have shown you your entire life that hard work and all they've done the entire life is maximizing every single opportunity they've gotten, that's what you're gonna tend to do as you grow older.
Yeah.
And
Who you hang around with, who you
exactly.
associate with, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened with me. My family, the people around me, I saw, very hardworking people, my dad, my mom, you typical very hardworking immigrant family
Yeah.
to
First
try to
generation family and
exactly,
trying to make it better for their
create
kids.
a brighter future for their kids.
Yeah.
So it's something that I don't take for granted. And now that I have reached a certain, you know, a place in my life where I'm privileged to have a lot of the things that my parents never thought that were possible. Now I say to myself, okay, now it's time for me to utilize. And this is one of the things that I love about real estate is that real estate not only the funding and capital and the monetary side of it, but it's the freedom that it has given me so that I could also dedicate time to those things that are super important to me, which is
Yeah.
giving back. And that's where, me going back to the Dominican Republic and trying to help other kids to
So
open up.
how are you doing that? What does that look like on the ground in the Dominican?
Sure. So what we started doing, and this started a year ago. So unofficially, what I will do is whenever I went to the Dominican Republic, my dad and I, we would usually bring clothes, shoes to the kids.
Hmm.
We will go to a couple of different communities and give them out to the kids that needed it. My dad actually, he passed away last year,
I'm sorry to
and
hear that. Yeah.
thank you. And what I decided to do was on his name was to create a foundation there.
Nice. What a nice
So
legacy.
yeah, so the
Yeah.
foundation actually has my dad's name. His name was Jose Bernard Reyes, so that's the name of the foundation. And I wanted to do the same thing that me and him used to do, but in a more organized way and try to scale that to help more people there. So last year, we started the process to establish a foundation there. And we started our first official project under the foundation, which was going to be we wanted to put together 25 to 30 book bags for kids before they went to school in September with everything they would ever need for school,
Yeah. Nice.
note packs, whatever they needed. And it was such a blessing because that little project of just trying to aim to put together 25 book bags turned into, we ended up sending 2 shipments of clothes for kids. We ended up being able to provide 50 bags, book bags to kids. And we are actually in the process now, which we started, of doing some major renovations to a school there. So through the process, when I was there in September last year. I was there in April this year, and now I'm going there usually 2 times a year. And the project that we did in September, when we went to give the bags and the clothes to the kids, there was this one school that it needed so much help, and they were asking for it, and no one was giving it to them. And it was the basic, Dave. I'm not talking about like any luxuries or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was, they had a roof that had a bunch of holes in it that when it rained, the kids had to move from one side to the other. They have 40 kids, 20 kids that go in the morning, 20 kids that go in the afternoon, and they only have one toilet
Yeah.
for the entire school, right? So what we
And
did
and
is
maybe even an outhouse type toilet.
that's exactly how it is. It's like a shack in
Yeah.
the back of the school. So what
Yeah.
we did was, in my second trip, we actually did a new roof for them. So we rebuilt a new roof. I was just down there in April, and we did a new electrical system there. We put fans in, and we put new lights, new electrical outlets, and now we're working on planning out how we're gonna actually expand the bathrooms and still have at least two different bathrooms, one for boys, one for girls, and have at least 3 to 4 toilets in each one of them.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. You know what? That is awesome, Jose. That's near and dear to my heart as well. I'm part of our local Rotary Club, and coincidentally, just recently we had a presentation from another club that we're partnered with in El Salvador, where their big thing is going to rural communities and building decent bathrooms for those rural schools, because just same thing, like it's
Yep.
just it's horrendous. Then we're also partnered with another organization in Honduras that's all about creating libraries for these rural schools, right? Because they have very, very few books. Everything that we take for granted in North
Yes.
America
Yep. Yep.
is a really big deal in most of the rest of the world, actually,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
we kind of we're most North Americans are completely clueless as to how the rest of the world actually lives, how kids go to school, how few opportunities they have, what a huge difference these
Yes.
kind of things can make for them. So good job for you. Here's a quick tip for you, my friend.
Yep.
Hook up with your local Rotary clubs.
Okay.
Go speak there, do a presentation, show what you've done in your first year with your foundation, show the pictures, show the videos, show how much of an impact you've had. And there's a pretty good chance that one or more of those clubs might be interested in assisting you with something like that.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Never thought of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jose, congratulations. I love how you've combined entrepreneurship, real estate investing, and now this passion, which I can just feel the vibe coming through the screen from you about helping other people out in Honduras. I'm sure your parents are very, very proud of you. This is a great honor for your father, a wonderful legacy for him. So if people want to connect with you and find out more, where should they go?
Instagram is where I'm most active as a platform, and it's
Uh-huh.
my name, Jose Bernard Investor.
Jose Bernard Investor on
Yeah.
Instagram. Probably only one of those.
I hope so. I think so.
Awesome, Jose. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Keep up the good work, and thank you for sharing your story.
Hey, Dave. Thanks again for having me.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll talk to you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.